Okay. And then it should be something with COMP1008 S2017 and then Tuesday.
Yes,
Right?
got it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys, good morning. Welcome back. Week 5, that means this week and next week, and then you have your the midterm, right? So let's see how much we can do. What I plan to do today is finish off my card game that I was doing. So we had worked on the card class. I'll add something to it, and then we'll write a deck of cards, and then I'll show you how I wrote the game of war, right? So I'll show you what the game I did. What I'm expecting of you is, if you want to work in pairs, that's very good. Work in pairs and create a card game for me, like I have done. Of course, your own words, right? It's not to be cheated, not to be taken from the internet, nothing. It has to be a card game. Of course, you can take a look at resources, but I don't want any copying and pasting or nothing. You use my classes that I give you, the card and the deck of cards that we have built in the class, and you use that to create a game card. Right? That will be your job. So I'll show you how I do it. I'll show you again today, and then you'll have an idea of what is expected. Okay? So you'll work in pairs so that you can put your heads together. Think of a game, any common game, memory game or whatever you like, any game that you play, any game that you like in cards, as long as it is not copied or cheated or anything from the internet. Nothing. It's your original work. That's all I'm expecting. So what I've done is I've also placed a tic-tac-toe game that Jared did with his class in Intro to Object Oriented. I don't know when it is, but he has kindly agreed to share his playlist on YouTube. You can always go and find it, of course, but I asked him if it was just the playlist was there, so you didn't have to kind of look through everything. So he's given me 2 playlists that he's used, and it contains his lectures when he did the Intro to Object Oriented course, right? And I've put those links on Blackboard for you. So you're most welcome to go and look at them. Again, the more you do, the more you learn, the better you will become. So it's entirely up to you. But a couple of students found it useful, and so I thought, why not share it with everybody? Okay, so we'll complete this today. So very quickly, I'll look through what we were doing. Remember, we are trying to build a card game. So as soon as we say we want to build a card game, we need cards, right? So we have to define a card class that defines a card. And then we have to define a deck of cards, because we play a game with a deck of cards. You don't play a game with a card. You know what I mean? So then we have to create a deck of cards. Once we have the deck of cards, now you create a count, whatever you like. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that so that you have an idea. So we were here. This is coming from your folder on Blackboard. So I placed these files already on Blackboard. So if you've missed anything, it's on Blackboard. So I did place this file last week on Blackboard. If you remember, we were talking about, and hopefully I won't have to repeat everything. We had said that the characteristics of a card are its face name, its face value, and its int value, right? So every card has a suit, because that's how it is in cards. So we have 4 suits that we had defined, or we could define, and then we have 13 face names that go from 2 to ace, and then we have 13 values that go from 2 to 14. Right? Now, if for your card game you need to change this from 2 to 14 to 1 to 13, sure, change it. Okay, so it depends on what kind of card game you're going to create. So usually it's 2 to 14. Ace is not 1, ace is 14. But again, if you are choosing a card game in which ace must take a value 1 instead of 14, then you have to change a few files, a few things here, which is okay. So remember, a class should be how I look and what can I do. The data is hidden. So data hiding is an important principle of object-oriented programming. All our variables, instance variables, are private. Anything that you need to share, you can create it as a static variable, that is, it belongs to the class. And usually variables that you share will be usually constants, because constants cannot be changed by any object. And we say, why make copies of it in every object? Let it be in class, and every object can use it. So static means it belongs to the class. Final means it's a constant. 2 and 14, because then I don't have to worry about, if you have to change it from 1 to 13 for your card game, go and change it here, and you don't have to change any other code. Okay, that's the only thing I've heard. Either it is 2 to 14 or it is 1 to 13. But you know what? I don't play a lot of cards, so I don't know if there is anything else. But those are the 13 cards in in one suit. So you usually go 1 to 13. Sometimes you go 2 to 14. Keep in mind that a class should always write defensive code. That means it should be complete in itself. So there is a contract with the class. The class says, give me this and I'll do it. And if you don't give me the right data, here, I won't work for you. That's how it works. So it says, I won't work for you. And that's what we've been doing now. We've said, okay, if everything is valid, I'll use it. If not, I'm just going to throw an exception back at you. And the back at you is the tester class, the application class that will use it or whatever when the time comes. And so that's all I can do. So what we had started doing, we had started throwing exceptions. So when we create a card object, you have to set its suit, you have to set its face name, and you have to set its face value. You don't create a card with none of these. So you don't need the empty constructor at all. Your constructor must set for a card the suit, the face name, and the face value, the 3 properties of the card. So I don't need an empty constructor here. Don't write don't code one, because it's useless. A card without characteristics is useless. It's just a white. It's nothing, right? So that's the one I need. And we did a few checks. We said, okay, the suit should only be equal to spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs. And I went all lowercase just to be consistent one, and it just looks neater. I mean, you could combine anything you want. Even in spades, I could be writing S capital, P small, A capital. Then it looks very untidy when it comes time to show your cards. So what I've done is, when I save it, so I check, are you one of spades, hearts, diamond, and clubs? And notice how I do a case insensitive search. Equals ignore case method. So equals ignore case says, it can be, as long as that's how it is spelled, it doesn't matter what your case is, mixing of case. So you could have used the equals method if you wanted, but I chose not to because I found this to be better. But what I want to do is to be on the neat side. Anytime you assign it to suit, change it to lowercase to be consistent. So use the to lowercase method of your string class to convert your string to all lowercase before you save it in your data, in your object. You'll say it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. But for consistency and neatness, all your cards will have its suit in small letters. So I could have done this before. I could have said this. I could have said change suit to lowercase, put it in a local variable, and then use the equals method instead of equals ignore. It's not a big deal, right? But I would like you to save the suit in each object as all lowercase. And it's not logically necessary at all. It's only for beauty, right? All your cards, when you print them out or you see them, they will all be all in lowercase. It just makes it pretty. So the to lowercase method belongs to the string class. I've used it with the string variable suit, and all I've done is convert it into lowercase and then save it in your object. So all values will be saved as lowercase, only making it pretty. That's it. Okay. So I mean, it just looks better. That's all. Else, if you don't give me any of these 4 suits, I'll say here something is wrong. It's not my job to think of, oh, what did you mean? Did you give in spade and you meant spades? Like, I don't care. If these are the 4 values you give me, I'll work, else I won't. And that's the design by contract. There is a contract between the class and whoever is using the class, and it says, I'm keeping my part of the contract, you do that. I could have done this better. Instead of writing 4, a compound condition and compound if condition with 4 sub-conditions, I could have done this job better. I leave it here. You can change it when you do your assignment. You can use something I'll show you now. Okay. So that was about suit, which was not so tough at all. Maybe you hadn't heard of the equals ignore case method. Now you have. You also are now looking at another method, to lowercase. If there is a to lowercase, there will be a to uppercase also. Right? Check if there is something called to capitalized case, which I am not very sure, in which you can keep the first letter capital and then the other. So spades S is capital, diamonds D is capital, if you want to go that route. In case of get face name, in get of case, we did not do any checking at all. There is a way of doing it. I had something in my head, but I didn't want to do it in class, just in case. I mean, trying always takes time, and I didn't want to waste your time. But I did try it, and it works. So I'm going to check my face name also. I'm going to validate it. But before I do that, the get face value was easy to validate. Your value must lie between 2 and 14. And please notice, I haven't used the constants 2. I haven't used the magic numbers 2 and 14 anywhere in my code. I've used named constants, and it will be expected of you also. No magic numbers in the code. Your code should always use named constants. And all you have to do is declare it as a constant with the final keyword. That's it. Whether you declare it as a class constant, which I would prefer, because what do you do with constants in each of the object? It's the same value. Or you put it in the object without static, it's up to you. But highly recommended that if the same constant is to be used by all the objects of the class, make it a static constant. A static final, it's not a variable, but it's called a static final variable. So it's a constant. We did for face value. So we checked face value, we checked the suit, but we said, okay, give me anything you like for the face name and I'll use it. Face name can be anything but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 8. So we'll do that check. You could have done it the same way you did for the 4 strings, the 4 suits. But remember, checking 14 values in an if statement or even using a switch is quite a bit of work, right? And it's untidy. It's not good code. So you could have written a compound condition if face name is equal to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or and then do something. It could be done, but I would keep away from it because there are better ways of doing it. Much better ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something. How to validate the face name. So for that, just because it's a big one, I'm going to declare an array here. We'll take it to be a private, static, final array of type strings. That's how you declare an array of string. 2, 3, 4 are all strings, right? It's just a face name, and you've said that face name will be string. So I'm going to declare it. You can call it whatever you like. I'm calling it faces. Again, all uppercase for constants. Please follow conventions. Conventions will have marks. Okay, and now what do you want to initialize it with? Notice how I've left it empty here. I could have said 13 here because there are 13 faces in a suit, but I just left it empty. Why? Because now I can just kind of initialize it. So go 2, 3, 4. I could use the digits, but I'm going strings. I'm going this way in strings. I could have used 2 in quotes, the number 2 in quotes. I prefer to go this way for, again, consistency. Okay, 4, then we have 5. So I'm creating an array. 6. Remember, an array is a fixed size collection. Oops. 7, 8, 9, 10. And 11 is Jack. And then I'm keeping them all lowercase so that the search is easy. Right? So the search is easy. 10 Jack. And then what do we have? Queen. And then we have the king. And then we have the ace. So please write them all in lowercase. And there. So I've declared an array of size 13. You could have written 13 in your square brackets. Avoid if you're initializing it right there. It will automatically take its size. So this array is exactly of size 13, starting from 0 to 12. Those are its indices, 0 to 12. And the values are in the first one. At the 0th position, it's 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and 7. So you could have put them in a sorted order if you like, but this is more easy to look at. So if I need to sort this array, which I will now, then I don't have, I'll just use the sort. Now what am I going to do? How am I going to search in this array? Now there are a few searching algorithms that are available. One is called the sequential search and one is called the binary search. In sequential search, if I'm searching for say 5, this is how it works. It will compare 5 with 2, oh, you're not 5. It will compare 5 with 3, you're not 5. It will compare 4 and then it comes to 5. Oh, it says, oh, I've got the match. That's the sequential search. So sequence starts from the beginning and will go on and stop where it finds it. Or suppose I'm looking for 11, which is not even here, right? 11 is not even here. It will search through the whole array, and then when it comes to the end of the array, it will say, I couldn't find 11. That's sequential search, okay? In a binary search, please notice how binary search works. It's much faster, but the requirement is that the array which you are searching for, the element, should be already sorted. So let's take a sorted array. This is not a sorted array, but let's take a sorted array. I'm just going to take an array 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. Numbers because numbers are easy, right? It could be strings, doesn't matter. In a binary search, what happens? It finds the middle element. Now you could say, oh, there could be 2 middle elements. Suppose I have a 10 here, then there are kind of 2 middle elements, which is okay. It's not a big deal, right? There are 2 middle elements. All it does is it tries to find the middle element. It could either choose 4 or it could choose 6, depending upon the algorithm. Not a big deal. So it will choose one of those, whatever it is, right? So this is my sorted array in which suppose I'm looking for 9. This is how binary search works. It kind of divides the list into two parts, right? So 1 to 4 on one side, 6, 7, 9, 10 on another side. It could be either way, 6 could come here. It's just an algorithm, whatever you like. Now it says, oh, you're looking for 9, and my middle element says 6. Oh, there is only one middle element. There are 3 odd in number. If there were 2, it just picks up one of the middle element, right? It says my middle element is 6, and you're looking for 9. Definitely, it has to be on the list on the right. So it completely ignores this list. Notice at one go, half the list is gone. I don't have to search that list at all. In a sequential search, it searches and talks to every element. Here, half the list is gone. Definitely, this will be more. It says, okay, now that means 9 is in this list. It again divides the list into 2. This half now, right? Now, since there are 2 middle elements, it could divide anyway. So it could be dividing at 7 or 9, doesn't matter. And now it compares 9 with 9. It says, oh, I found it. And then it completely ignores this one. So with every iteration, it is kind of throwing away half the list. So binary search algorithm is definitely better. It takes less time. The only requirement is that the list in which you are searching must already be sorted. And you know what? We don't have to write that anymore at all. Like when I was a programmer, when I was a student, we wrote the algorithm for sorting, for search, because there was nothing in the library. Now you have such a rich library with all languages. Somebody has already written the sort method for you. All you have to know is where do I pick it up. It actually has a sort method. Somebody has already written a binary search for you. You don't have to write it yourself. All you have to do is use it. That's all you have to do. So all you do is take your array, faces, sort it. Once you sort it, do a binary search on it. Once you do binary search on it, if it is present, it will return a value 0 or more. If it is not present, it will return a value less than 0. As easy as that. So you don't have to bother anything except looking for the right way. So now my array is ready, right? So now what I'll do is when I validate the faces, so go to your set face name here. So let's validate. So here say this method sets the face of the name of the card if it is valid. Else it will throw an exception, right? We've done this everywhere. We've done this in, oh, can you do this for me? I forgot to write your add throws. Please notice whenever your method throws, you add it to your add throws. You throw an illegal argument exception. Just write the name of the exception here. Please add this to your Java document. And when does it throw it? This method sets the suit of the card after validating it. It throws this if the suit is not valid. There. Please add your throws clause wherever you've done a checking. This was a return, so that we don't need. So add this add throws annotation to the Java doc comments in your set suit method. And also add this in your all your set methods. So all you're saying is I'm going to throw an illegal argument exception if the suit is not valid. Make sense? So again, all in the library also you will see throws clause are already present. So add this in your Java documentation in your set method because you're throwing it in your set. You're not throwing it in your get. Get doesn't throw it. Get only gets the value. So add it here and then come down and add it to your set value here. You threw it here also. But in this case, you'll say if the face value is not valid. You can write here must lie between. You can put in brackets or something. You can write in your comments, you can say face value must be greater than equal. I can't use the constants here in my comments. You can kind of put it here if you like. So when you say this method sets the face value of the card after validating it, you can say valid face values are so that the user knows what are valid. This will come in its description. And you can do the same thing in your suit also. You can say valid suits are, though it's a little bit of work. It's okay. Remember, no laziness. Valid suits are, and you can write all these 4. Spades, Control C. So the user knows why something went wrong, why was an exception thrown. So comments should always be complete and neat. Here. Now there is no, the user says, oh, why was an exception thrown? Because I did not give one of these spades, hearts, diamonds, or clubs. So add it to your comments. Add it to your comments, okay? And add the throws clause to your comments everywhere. Okay, so let's now do the set face name. So please add it here. Oops, wrong one. So we need the add throws here. So pick up the add throws, illegal argument exception if whatever is not valid. So put it here. And says if the face name is not valid. And again, you can say valid face names are, and you can kind of go 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. So you can kind of put a dash dash, or if you're not lazy, copy from the array here, okay? Which I will do because who wants to write them again? But I'm not being lazy in the sense I'm not avoiding it. I'm just kind of copying it. And this is in comments. So when you use this method and you don't use the right one, it will tell you. So I'm going to write it here. I just copied them. That's all I did from my array. I know it's a long comment, but the description is complete, right? So it says this method sets the face name of the card if it is valid, and valid face names are this. Else it throws an illegal argument exception. So now we have to validate our face name because it's necessary. Don't leave anything to the user. The class must be self-complete, like complete, looking for all exceptions and everything. So we'll learn how to do it now. So we've done it with face, with your suit, though it was not the best, but we've done it. It's right here, right? It's right here. You've used an if statement with 4. You could have used a switch here to make it more compact, but still you're checking 4 conditions. And I could do it the way I'm doing it now. So I leave it to you. Okay, how do I do it? Let's do it. Your first job is to sort the array. Sort the faces list. You can call it list in your comments if you like. And how do you do it? It's as simple as this. Take your faces array. We'll know in a minute. The sort method. Okay, so it's not that. Here. Arrays is a class already available in the Java class library. The class is called arrays. And I'm using the sort method of the arrays class to sort who? I'm going to sort the faces. There. Oops. Job done. I've sorted the array. Right, I've sorted the array. So you will notice that it should have imported java.util.arrays here. It will import it, right? NetBeans will import it. If you were using BlueJ, it wouldn't, but it will. So I've sorted the array. My array is ready. Now I'm going to search if that face name that you want to use is present in this array. Why I have to sort it? Because I want to use binary search. If you wanted to use sequential search, then you needn't have to bother. You didn't have to, but I'm going to use binary search. Okay, so now how do you use binary search? I'll show you how you use it, but we are checking if I was able to find that element. This is how you check it, right? So if it was who is greater than 0, I'll just do who is greater than 0 in a minute. Then you set it, else you throw that exception, like anything else. So we'll throw the illegal exception. Else we'll throw the illegal exception. And we'll say invalid face name. Now, if you want, you can give your whole list. Valid face names are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. You could do it. Okay, now the condition is not complete. What do we need to check? Right, that's what is important. What do we need to check? Now, we need to check if the face name that you provided me is present in that array called faces. And I have sorted it first. Keep in mind, you can only use binary search on a sorted array. Now, what is this binary search? It is a method of your arrays class again. It's called binary. There it is, see, binary search. I'm sure there will be a sequential search also. Let's try. No, there is not. Okay, so we'll go with binary search. But you will find it somewhere. So I'm going to do a binary search. On what? On faces. And what are you going to search? See how easy it is. So you sort the array. You don't have to write anything but one line of code. You are saying use the sort method. I've used the sort method of the arrays class. The arrays class is a class in Java. There's a class called arrays in Java. It's sort method to sort what? An array. Which array did I sort? My faces array. So in a sorted, they haven't changed the array, they've just sorted it for use. Okay. Oh, this one will change it in place because it returns void. Yeah, so it changes it. You'll say, could I have entered it in a sorted order when you put it? Yes, you could have. Then you just have to remember who comes after who. And I didn't want to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was much easier to input. And I just need one line of code. So I sort it. So you could do the same thing with your suits. You could put the 4 suits in an array, and then you could sort it, and then you could use one single if statement instead of that compound if. So now what do I want to do? I want to say search, do a binary search of this face name in this array called faces. If it is greater than 0, you found it. Or you can say perform a search or search for, if you just want to keep it simple. Search for the face name in faces. That's what you're doing here. That's your binary search method. And if the value is greater than 0, that means you found it. You can put a comment here. You found it because you said greater than equal to 0. Why greater than equal to 0? Kind of think of it logically. Arrays indices start from 0. So if you found it, it will give you the position where it is. Is it at position 0? Is it at position 1, 2, and so on? So it's greater than equal to 0. And anything less, it is minus 1 actually. But we are safe here. We know anything 0 or greater means you found it. If you found it, use it. And how do you use it? Set it. I've set it. See, I've set it here. I've set it right here. I use it. And again, we'll do the same thing. To keep it neat, we'll convert it into lowercase. Oh, there were 2 lowercases. What was it? I saw 2 of them. Anyway, just convert it to lowercase. Same thing, same logic. It's nothing to do with the logic. It's just making it neat. So irrespective of how you give your 2 or 3 or 5 or 4, whatever, case doesn't matter. I convert it to all lowercase before I save it in a card object. So it just makes it neat. So suit is saved in all lowercase. We converted suit also to lowercase. And I've converted the face name that you provide me also to lowercase and then save it in the face name. Now all checking has been done. You can never create a card without one of these suits, 2 to 14 as values, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is as its face. Your class is complete. Irrespective of who uses it. Though deck of cards will use it, but whoever uses it, it's complete. So this was the validation I wanted to do that day, but I didn't want to do it with compound ifs. We could have, but it's so silly to do it equals in lowercase 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. There were 14, 13 values. Who wants to write a compound or even a switch? I don't want to write a switch also. Switch will also take code. This is only one line code. Notice how beautiful the language is. Methods are already provided to you. All you have to do is learn how to use it. And the whole concept comes from objects. So there is a class called arrays. It's already giving you those methods. All you have to know how to use them. And I have to use them on an array, and I use return faces. And then there is a search algorithm. I don't have to write a single line of code. Believe me, it was a headache. We had to write all this ourselves 25 years back because there was nothing in the library. We had to code it. I remember writing sorting algorithms. There are so many types of sort. There is merge sort, there is quick sort, there's so many sorts. And there is binary search and sequential search. And I remember coding it. I had to because there was no other way if I wanted to sort a list or search for something. It was plain coding. Why would you do it? So that's the beauty of object-oriented programming languages now. Classes have been defined, classes have methods, you just have to know how to use them. And someday, if your card class is popular and your deck of cards is proper, you can put it in the library and people will use it. Right? So you're right, you're learning how to use classes and you're learning how to build classes. So all classes must be perfect. Take care of all kind of errors, do everything, and this should be perfect. So now my card class is perfect. It wasn't last week because I hadn't error checked for suit. Now it's perfect. Try creating a class. Do you want to try it using BlueJ? Let me show it to you. You don't do it, I'll show it to you. I'll open my BlueJ. Remember I told you there was this BlueJ kind of a little more visual one. Oh, I've done it somewhere already. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it's here. It is already here. So I've copied it. Okay, so notice my card class is ready, but I haven't tested it yet. I'm assuming it is correct. Right? One, I can write a tester. I can write a main method. I can create a class. I can write a tester and check it. To be quick, I can use BlueJ. The class is ready. I've compiled it. I go right click and I say create a card. Right? Now it says, what's your suit? Let me go something like AA, which is invalid. AA is not a valid suit. Face name, I'll just go 2, one at a time. I'll make errors one at a time. And for face value, I'll go 2. So what's wrong? My suit is wrong. Notice it will come up with throwing an exception. There it is. Now it's not very neat, but it's okay. It's coming up. It's saying suit. And notice the message, suit value is invalid. So this is working. Try to give anything else but spades, whatever, and it will work. And also to check that, can I put spades in all caps or whatever? Can I mix and match? Why not? S capital, P small, A capital, D capital, E small. As long as it is called spades, it will work. Okay. And then for this one only, let's try to give 2 again. I want to show you that the object gets created. And what's inside it? Again, with 2, I'll do something silly. I'll go O capital. P, W, and O is capital. And then I'll give a face value of 2. This object will get created. If you inspect it, notice how it has spades 2 and 2 inside it. A card got created. That's your card. The suit is spades, the face name is 2, and the value is 2. So try to create both valid and invalid objects. So we've already checked for something wrong. Let's go spades here. For face name, I can't give something like 11. I cannot. It's Jack, it's not 11, right? And then I say here 11. And let's try. And it will say, you can do it. And what's your error? Face name is invalid. You could show it. Valid face names are this, valid suits values are this. Your message is just long, nothing else. And I would prefer you showing me good messages rather than incomplete messages. It just takes 2 minutes to type. The error message will be big, but the error message will be clear, right? So instead of just saying face name is invalid, you could say face name is invalid. Valid values are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 till this. How long does it take? You just have to copy and paste. Your array is already ready. Right, and now, so this also works. So that means I can't give an invalid one. Let's try something with proper. So let's go diamonds. Let's go Jack. Oops, let's go Jack. I know it is 11, so I'll go 11. Oops, 11. And remember, 11 is an integer. It was not a string. And this will get, here it is. Inspect it. There it is. And there was a toString method also, if I'm not, no, there it is. Here it says Jack of diamonds. That's what we told. So yes, it is coming all in lowercase because that's what I've done. But it's neat at least. It's not all over the place, bigs and smalls mix. I would have preferred to go J capital and D capital for Jack and diamonds, but better than mix and matches of all kinds because users will not even bother. You know, if their caps lock is on, it's on. If it's off, it's off. If they want to, who knows? What do they want to do? Users can never be relied upon. I've always said, don't rely on the users. So therefore, create your code bomb-proof. It should just be bomb-proof. Nothing can hit. So it works, right? So if you want to try to give an invalid value, the only one I haven't checked is this. You can go spades. You can go clubs here, but I'm not checking that. But anyway, clubs here. Then you can go something else, ace here. And oops, spelling is wrong, ace here. And then you can go something like 15 here, which is invalid. It will come up with the error. It says face value is invalid. It must lie between 2 and 14. This is a better error message. It tells me completely what is wrong with it. There I just have to add valid face values are this and valid suits are this. A minute work, which you can do. It's not a big deal, right? Just add it to your error message. So it works. My card class is working. My card class is perfect. So how do I add a message? All you do is you'll add it here. Like you've done your card face value must lie between this. So wherever you have your error messages, invalid face name, you will just add it here. You'll say invalid face name and then say valid face names are, and you can go 2, 3, and it takes a minute. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace. There, your message is complete. Oops. Spelling of 9. Anything else? 4. Anything else? A comma after the 3. This looks okay. Yep, there it is. Didn't even take 20 seconds, but the message is now complete, and it's much better to give complete error message, as in you can do the same in your suit. You can say, where was it here? Oh, card must be, I've already said card suit. So because I was using a different code. In the other one, I think I just said suit was invalid. Here I've said card suit must be one of these. So if to complete it like others, you can say card suit is invalid, just to kind of keep it with other error messages. It must be here. It must be hearts, spades, diamonds, or clubs. So notice how my error messages are complete now. So here I've said card suit is invalid, and there I've said face name is invalid. It must be, and here also same, just give them. Or it must be 2, 3, or whatever, or valid face names are. Right, so that completes it. That completes my card class. There were only 3 things to do, validate. There was nothing else. The toString method was just returning you the face and the face name and the so there was no other method. Okay, so this class is complete. I'll put it on Blackboard interimly when I finish, or if you want, I can do it right away. It's not a big deal. Is it weekly learning? Is it? And class examples. And it's Tuesday. So something is already there. I'll just replace it. I'll just overwrite it. Did I save it? Yes, I did. And I'm going to put the one that we just finished so that you have it. Courses, Intro to Java, Summer 2017, Tuesday. So that's why it should always be organized. That's why I say, see that your game is your code is at the right place where you search it, and don't ask me where did I save it. If you put it at proper place, you will have it. So card is complete on Blackboard. Okay. Now let's write the deck of cards. Let's see where we left off. I don't remember the section, like how much we did. Okay, so we definitely talked about that a deck of cards is nothing but 13 of each kind, right? That's what a deck of cards is. 13 of each kind. So each suit is 13, starting from 2, going on to ace. Right? So this class, basically, if you look at it, it says this class represents a deck of cards, right? That's all it says in the definition. The name, the since, and then the version number. Now this version number should have been 2, because this is my second version, but as I said, it's just, this constructor creates a deck of cards with 52 cards, 13 of each suit. That's all it does. There are no params, there are no returns, right? In a constructor, there's never a return. They will never have an @ return statement. There is no return, but there is nothing it needs. So what did I do? I created a suits array. I could have made it final also, but every time you call the constructor, it's there, right? Then I had these face names that are no different. And then I said, deck has been declared to be of type an array list. Please ask for space. Please ask for space. Unless you do a new for an object, giving strings, which is kind of behind the scenes. It is being done for you. Unless you do a new, you call the constructor, you cannot construct an object. So I constructed the deck object. The deck was an array list of card objects. Remember we said, when you looked at it, I asked you, what is this deck of cards? I hope I have them still. I don't know. Like I have, could be somewhere. But basically a deck of cards, I think I've left them somewhere. A deck of cards is nothing but collection of cards. And we exactly know that there are 52 of them. We exactly know that, right? So we exactly know that there are 52 of them, and we exactly know that there are 13 of each suit. So there is no ambiguity at all. And what I'll do in deck of cards, I'll exactly create them in one of these. So I'll create 13 of spades, 13 of diamonds, 13 of hearts, and 13 of clubs. And for each one of them, so the outer, notice how the loop is running. At line number 27, though I have commented it out, line number 27 says do this job 4 times. You use a for loop when you exactly know how many times you have to do a job. Right? So instead of 4, you could have created a constant called number of suits and done it. And that's not bad at all, because whenever constants have names, they mean something. They exactly tell you what they are doing. So you could do that, and let's do that now. And for each of them, I'll create how much face name length. So basically this face names. It's face names, not face name. Face name length. So 13, right? So notice how the suit is going. Oh, I didn't even use the for loop. I was showing you it can be done, but then I went to the for each loop. So we'll use the for each loop. Just easier. Remember the for each loop? You can work with collections. So anytime you are using an array list or an array, anything that's a collection, you can use a for each loop. It's called for each, though it's written as for. Some languages will have the for each. I think C# has for each, the whole word. So what are you saying? You're saying pick up once at a time from suits. So pick up spades first, then pick up diamonds, then pick up hearts, then pick up clubs. So I don't have to say, compare the two lines at 33 and 27. Which is easier? Which is easier? Is 27 easier or is 33 easier? Which one do you like? It's your preference. You can use the for loop. But the easier one to me at least is 33, because I don't say to start at 0. I don't say how many. I could have used, instead of 4 actually, it would have been better to use suits.length here. I don't even want to count. I don't even want to do that. Remember, you can always find out the length. I could do that, and then I'm picking up one at a time. But I don't even want to do that. I don't want to say where to start. The for each loop will automatically start from the first element and go on till the last element. It picks up one element at a time, and when it picks up one element at a time, you will have to save it in the element at the same time. So what's coming out of suits? Strings. One string at a time. So put it in a string variable, call it whatever you like. I just call it suit because it makes sense. You could have called it NG, which will not make sense at all. You could have called it XYZ, which of course doesn't make any sense at all. But this one kind of makes sense. It says pick up one suit at a time. Now for each one of them, what do you have to do? Create 13. And I didn't write the magic number 13. What did I use? The array's length. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till 9 ace is 13. So this loop will run from 0 to, 14. So this will run from 0 to 13. Remember, indices always start from 0 in arrays and array lists. So you start from 0 and you say, why did you use a for each loop here if you like it so much? I didn't use it here because I wanted this I plus 2 value. I wanted to use I. That's why I didn't use it. I could have. So what am I doing? I'm creating a card. What will be passed at the first go? Spades. What will be passed for face names I? 2. Remember? So kind of see how this loop is working, if you can make sense of this loop. So let's look at the loop. We'll take spades, the first one. That's my first suit. Okay? Pay attention so that you know what exactly is happening. It's not rocket science at all. It's just a loop within a loop. So the outer ones are spades. After the spades, I had diamonds, hearts, and clubs. I'll just write them. So that's my second, diamonds. Outer loop, hearts. Outer loop, clubs. Outer loop. So the outer loop will run 4 times. Inside each loop, I'm going to run it 13 times. The values it is going to take, I is going to take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and it will go on till the size of the length of the array is how much? 13. So it will go on till size of the array, length of the array. How many elements in each? There are 13, starting from 2. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, sorry. Right, there is where it will go. Right. So that's the inner loop. Now look at what it does for each inner loop. It creates a card object. So when you say new card, a new card object is being created with what? Space as the first one, comma. When it is 0, face names I is taking what? 2. Remember, that's the first element. 2 is the first element. And then I plus 2, 0 plus 2. My first card is ready. Your first card of spades is ready. It will repeat another card. And then you are adding it to your deck of cards also. What's your second card? Spades remain like spades. What happens to your 2? The 2 becomes 3 because that's your second element in your face names. And then I is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. And this way it will create all the 13 cards of spades. Then it will create all the 13 cards of diamonds, all the 13 cards of hearts, and all the 13 cards of clubs. Right? So it's less, so it will go till 12. Yes. I wanted to go 12 and I'm going 14. So it will go till 12. 0 less than 30. 0 to 12. So your last card will be 12 plus 2, which is your ace, 14. That's how your loop is running. And every time you create a card, where are you adding it? To your array list. So there is already an add method in the array list class. You don't have to do anything at all. Call it. What it does it adds it. Adds means it just, so there is an array list. This is your deck of cards. You can assume this is your deck. So when you go add, it actually takes a pointer and puts it here. Remember, these are reference variables. Objects are reference variables. You create the second card and you go add, it puts the second one. You go add, it puts the third one here. So basically, after the deck of cards is created, and if you wanted to print it out, it would be all spades followed by all diamonds followed by all hearts followed by all clubs. That's not how you would like to play it. Then you will shuffle it. You'll shuffle it before we play it later. But that's how I create a deck of cards. My deck of cards is ready. What's my next step? Now, what do you do with it? So once the deck is ready, so that's how I look is basically a collection. That's all how it looks like, a collection of cards. That's all it looks like, collection of cards. So the constructor creates it, the job is done. And now what can I do with the deck of cards? I should be able to shuffle them, right? Which is again a whole procedure, but thankfully somebody has written it first. And then I need to deal it. From the top of the card, I want to take out one and deal. Top of the card, I deal. A student from the other class was mentioning you draw also from a card sometimes. Yes, if you want to draw method, draw means any random thing you will pick up and draw. You could do that if your game requires it. If you need a game in which you have to draw, and draw doesn't mean deal, which is always from the top, you can write a method called draw. You'll add it. So I'll stick to two methods. One, I'll write a method that allows me to shuffle a card, and then two, I'll write a method that will allow me to deal a card. Dealing is always done from the top. So kind of see what I'm doing. I'm removing a card from my array list. Removing. And there is a method called remove. I don't have to do anything. Just call it. With shuffle, thankfully it's already there now. They've added it in 1.6, I think added it. Before, what you had to do, you had to kind of say, okay, pick up the first card, for example, pick up a card at a random position. So there is a random class, a secure random class in Java. It gives a number. You'll say pick up a card from 0 to 51. Pick it up and then exchange them. This way you'll keep exchanging, and it is shuffled. But now somebody has already written a method called shuffle. It is called shuffle. It belongs to the collections class. Use it. It will automatically do this algorithm. So it does something like this. If you want to read what they do, code is available. Java is available free. So see what the method does. It will pick up a card from a position. It will pick up a random card from another position, and it will exchange it. And it will keep doing this for a number of times. At the end of the day, the cards have been shuffled. And again, I remember writing shuffle method myself because there was no shuffle method. And as I said, I think the shuffle method is new. It wasn't there in previous like Java when it started. So all we have to do is use it. How easy is that? Nothing. You'll say, but how do I know if there is a shuffle method? How do I know there is a sorter? You live and learn. That's what you have to do, right? Google is your best friend. Go and try to do shuffle elements in an array list or something like that. I had to learn it too. I didn't know it. You know what I mean? Like everybody has to learn. So you will take a little time, but you will learn. You didn't know. I didn't know. I really didn't know there was a sort. But there is one. There is binary search. I was just looking. Is there a sequential search? I didn't find it in my arrays class. But maybe I find it in collections. But it will be somewhere. So all I'll do is I'll Google it. I'll say sequential search Java. And it will tell me how you can do it. And if not, it will tell me you can do it. Then I like the algorithm myself, but I'm sure there must be something. So that's what I do. That's how we all learn. And that's what you have to do. Nobody knows. There are thousands of classes in the Java class library. You don't know about every book. Nobody knows. If you go to a library, do you know about every book? No. But you find out. You say, okay, where do I find the computer science catalog? In the catalog, you say, I'm looking for books on Java. In Java, I'm looking for books by Beetle and Beetle. That's how you kind of find out. It's the same with the library. In Java, all you have to do is you have to find out. But all I Google it. It takes less time. So if I wasn't sure, like I was looking up, but I didn't find it. So if I wanted to look for sequential search in Java, I'll go sequential search. I know what it is called. At least I have to know that. Or you can simply say search, right? And say Java. We all know, see, sequential and binary search implemented in Java. Or beginning units, unit 6 arrays. So they're talking. Or I would go to their website, like to Oracle website, and look for examples there. I'm sure I'll find them. See, here they are, searching algorithms in Java with examples, binary search algorithms in Java, sequential string array in Java. It's all here. Or just go to the Oracle website and in their search sequential search or something, you will get it. So there is sequential search somewhere. It's not in the arrays class. It wasn't coming up when I said arrays.sequential search. It wasn't, but I'll find it if I have to. Okay, so now this constructor, basically, if I wanted to create a deck of cards, I'll do it. Let's take this. Let's do a control A and C. Let's go to BlueJ. It's only the constructor, only deck of cards is available, but I can look at them. Remember, there is an inspect. And since I'm using this one, I'll go to your card also, because they just have better messages. That's all. I mean, I've just completed it for you. That's why. Here, let's compile it. If the package statement has changed. When you copy it, BlueJ didn't have a package, so it removed the package statement, which is okay. So that's done. Card is done. Go to deck of cards, compile it. You can always write compile from here also for your information. Here it is compile. And it says package statement is wrong. Say, oh, I know about it. Do an okay, and it will remove the package statement. Now, now if I wanted to create so notice how deck of cards is using the card class. Notice that arrow in BlueJ. It says deck of cards has cards. Right? It has cards. This relationship is called has a relationship. There is an is a relationship in Java, that's for inheritance. Is a. You know what I mean? Dog is an animal. Cat is an animal. That's inheritance. But this is called a has a relationship. And you will say deck of cards has a card. But I don't know how many, but we know there are 52. But that's the only information you say. That you are using the card objects inside the deck of cards. Remember, I'm saying new card. I don't have to do anything at all. All I have to do is call its constructor. Call it. Do a right click and do new deck of cards. It says, what do you want to call it? You can call it whatever, my deck. I'm calling it my deck. Uh-oh. Valid face names are 2, 3. This is the new one I just wrote. Okay, so 2, 3, it says it's not valid. Face name. Okay, let's go back to your deck of cards. Let's see where did we make a mistake. Face names 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's okay. Face names length. Something is wrong. Look up what is wrong. Face names I. So 2 will go to it. 2 is a string. Okay, let's go to card then. Something is wrong in my cards. My validation. It was working when we did it the other way, but something is wrong. What is it saying? Set face value. No, it's not the face value. Face name. Why isn't it doing it? I did a sort on it. It's coming here. Greater than equal to 0. Sort it and do a binary search. It's throwing this exception. Why? Set face name is creating a problem. Deck of cards, suits, face names, new card list, I less than face names dot length. pass this. Oh, let's see if I've passed it in the right order, guys. Maybe that's the mistake. Okay, your constructor. No, suit, face name, and face value. Order is right. Order is right. That's strange. When I work this way, where's my blue jay? So there is something wrong. So when I go like this, I say create a card and I go spades. Then I go to the string. Then I go to the card gets created. But when I go this way and I have a loop going on, what's not right? Sort your array. And okay, the array was called faces. Do you think it has to do with the static array? No, faces, it was called faces. But this is being used, this class is being used, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't matter, but here, there could be no control characters. I'm just seeing if I have something wrong. No, that's okay. Why is it not working? So something wrong with the deck of cards has to be, because the class itself is working. And all you do is you kind of, we already tested it, right? We tested it so many times. So what's wrong here? Okay, let's look. String of suits. Pick up one element at a time. The problem is here. And the problem is right here. It's this one is creating and it's doing it at the first go itself. Look at it, where have I gone wrong? Suits is an array. It's a local array. But that doesn't matter. I mean the same thing. For int I equal to 0, I less than the length I plus plus. Create a new card. Go new card and add the new card to the deck of cards. There has to be some problem. Spellings are okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, there it is. Oops. There it is, guys. That was a small j, small q, small king, and small ace. There it is. There's the problem. I'm searching for jack with a capital J and the binary search is not finding it. If I do this here and I want to make it capital, then will that work? Let's think for a minute. But there I wanted to convert it into all lowercase. The search will work, but when you save it, I can do it that way too, but saving, I'm trying to be consistent. Therefore, I converted into 2 lowercase. That was the difference. I was trying to save a jack with a capital J. And binary search is, and I tried. I've already tried it. Binary search is not working, is not case insensitive. If we could find a case insensitive binary search, maybe that will work. But now it should work. Okay, so that is the problem. Let's try it again in BlueJ. Let's compile it. Let's create a deck of cards. There it is, right? Now to inspect it, there are 52 cards inside it, guys, remember. So we'll do an inspect. You will say, oh, it shows an error. Remember, it's a reference, right? Inspect it. And it has 52. Why size is 52? Because there are 52 cards in it. And here are its members, which are again objects. So again, inspect it. And here are those. You can inspect them one at a time if you want. So there is my first one, spades 2, 2. Make sense? Close it. What should your second one be? Spades 3, 3. Right? So the first 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this should be 7. So if you inspect it, there it is. Right? Starts with 0 and so on. And if you kind of go ahead and pick up any, this will be a different one. This is the second one, something in diamonds, right? Because I'm at 14. That means it is the 15th element. There it is, diamonds with 3. The card is ready. The deck of cards is ready. This shows you that your deck of cards is ready. And then notice it has given you a few extra. Array list gives you a few extra, but don't worry about it. That's okay. It will only use, its size remains the same. The size, when you work with it, you will work on the size. An array list at a time, let me tell you what happens. When you create an array list, you are given 10 empty spots to start with. Then you need the 11th one, it gives you 20. It gives you 21. But you don't have to worry about it. It's a dynamic list. What should you be worried about? The first element is at 0 and the last element is at size -1. For arrays you use length. Here there is a method called size, not a variable. Their length is a variable. It doesn't have opening and closing brackets. Length is a variable. It's not a variable. It's called to be a constant defined for the arrays class. It's an instance variable. Right? Method. So you can never go wrong. So don't worry about, oh, I have extra space there. But notice how it had null, null, null in. So don't worry about how, inside. All you know is how to use it. So there is my deck of cards. My deck of cards is ready. Works. At least the deck of cards is ready. Now we have to do more things with it. We should know how to shuffle it. We should know how to deal out a card. And then, of course, remember the two-string method gives you everything about it. Here I can inspect it, but if I don't have BlueJ, how do I see what's inside it? I'll just kind of create a deck of cards and not print it out, send it back, the two-string method. So let's try to do that. I'll take 5, I still have 10 more minutes before the break, so I'll take that and then I'll let you go. Now, the only thing which maybe I can do afterwards for you is this. I'll try to find out. I'm okay here. I had small JQ. How did it become a, oh, I changed it. I'm saying I'm in BlueJ. So I'll have to look, and I think I looked. Binary search was not case insensitive. And here is where it was giving the problem, guys. If I can take care of that, you know what I can do? I think I can do this. I'll try to find if I can find a case insensitive binary search, which looks really silly. I should be able to do a binary search with case insensitivity. If not, I'll take all the elements that are being passed, convert them to lower first, and then search for it, or whatever. I'll think of something, but otherwise binary search is looking for it, so it's there. Okay, so this is ready now. So my constructor is ready. Now let's write the other methods. Let's write the shuffle method. This method shuffles. We all know what shuffles mean, and a common user also knows. Shuffles the deck of cards. Does it need anything from you? No. Does it return anything from you? No. It just shuffles it, right? And it is as simple as this. Okay, so it's a public method because you will be using it outside. It returns nothing. No, let's say it returns void. Let me not say nothing because constructor returns nothing. It returns void, and you can call it a good name, please. Let's call it shuffle. And all I have to do is I don't have to write any code at all. Though, as I said, you could. You can write your own code, and it will take some time, maybe an hour to make it perfect. But all I have to do is there is a collections class, and there is a method called shuffle right there. I'll just call it. And when you come here, bring your mouse here, and what was it when it showed Alt Enter? And then you say import. There it is, imported. Is it called something else? Oh, whom am I shuffling? There. That's all I have to do. That's it. One line of code. And that's why I'm trying to stress, you have to know how to use the library. And if you know how to use it, you will also know how to create it. Then you will kind of say, oh, that's what I have to do. Then it is done. My shuffling is done. So go and look at the shuffle method. You can always look at the code, guys. Java is open source. You can look at the code of the shuffle method, and all it will be doing is writing an algorithm that will randomly pick up 2 cards and swap their positions. And it will keep doing this for some time, like maybe 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. I don't know what they've written. And then it's done. Shuffling is done. Not much to be done at all. Just need to know. And now our next method, what else did I say? You should be able to deal go this method, and we always deal the top of the card. So we'll say this method now deals. I mean, everybody knows what deal is, but here deals. Like if you play cards, you know what it is. The top card of the deck. You usually deal from the top. You don't deal from taking out cards from wherever. Dealing is always done. When I say deal, you always deal from the top, right? That's what you do. You don't say, oh, I'm going to deal this one. I'm going to deal this one. You don't do that. You don't randomly deal cards. You always deal the top of the card. But if you wanted those methods for a game that you write, you have to just write them. If you want a draw method, if you want to deal from the bottom, I don't know. To me, I say deal, right? Okay, so this method will deal the top of the deck. And what else will it do? And let's see. I'm not sure whether I'll need anything. Let's see. So this is a public method. It just deals it. So it is removing. I don't think we'll need anything but void. what would you like to call it? Deal top card? I'm calling it deal top card because if you need any other method else, you have the option of just writing it, coding it. You can add whatever methods. And you know what? I'll kind of go shuffle. That way we never kind of miss out in. Make it a habit. It's a good habit, believe me. It will save you wasted time. Brackets are a nuisance. Okay, now what do I need to do? Think about it. How do you deal the card? You remove it, right? You remove it and you don't throw it. I mean, but it's gone. Now when you use a game, you will give it to a player, right? Somebody will have it. But that's what you do. You just remove it from your deck. So if I can remove it, I'm okay. Now, till when can you deal? Only till you have something in the deck. You can't deal forever. So if my deck dot size, where is your size method? You can deal beyond it, right? Is greater than 0, right? So you're basically saying if there are cards in the deck. That's what it means. I mean, you could have written it without an if, but how silly could that be? It would be it will go on, and if it has anything extra, and you just noticed in BlueJ, there were extra cells in it. I told you, array list, we don't say how many to give. The system gives it dynamically. We only use how many we want. So I know exactly how many I have. Size. Size comes from where? When I added it to the deck of cards, it knows how many to give, and size will automatically give you 52 cards. It will automatically stop at 52. So it will go from 0. It will check, is the size greater than 0? Yes. At 0, it will stop. Size is not telling you from where to where. Size is telling you how many. Right? So it is telling you how many. Okay, if that's what the case is, what do you want to do? You want to just remove and give back. Dealing, we'll need it. We'll need it. Because we have to give it to somebody. Like we just can't throw it. When we write a game, we will need that card. Return. And all I have to do is take my deck, use the remove method. Oops. Remove is okay. Remove is okay when you're just removing a card. Okay, the top one. Remove has its problems if you're trying to remove from the middle. And I'm already telling you it has. They have already taken care of it instead of using the remove method of the array list. Deck is an array list. Iterator class is used. So if you need to remove from the middle, the drop thing, then it's a little different. It's just a bug that was in Java 5 or 3, and they've taken care of it. Okay, so you want to remove which element? The 0th element always. You always want to remove the 0th element at the top. Okay, and what? Now since there is a return type, tell me, since there is a return type, and if the size is 0, what should I be returning? What can I return when the return type is card? If it is invalid, what should I be able to return? So you are saying deal the card. Dealing can only go until size. When I'm done, what value will work as a return value if what is card? Is it a data type like int double, or is it an object? What is card? Is it a int, a double, a basic data type, or is it an object? An object. Card is an object. The return type is card, which is a class, but of course you're saying like return. So if I wanted to return a default value for an object, what should I return? Null. Null. Perfect. Null. So if you find it, return it. Else return what? Null. There you are. There it is. Now, of course, you can put your opening and closing brackets if you want, if you really like to put them. Oh, what did I do? I don't know. I did a Shift Alt F is, yeah, okay. I don't know what I did, but anyway, whatever I did, here it is. I don't like how it formats it, but it's just easy, right? I prefer to put my curly brackets in different lines and then else in a different line. And you don't have to do this formatting if you want to do your own formatting. Whatever makes sense to you, as long as it is neat and clean. But I do it because it just saves me time. Right? So you can do your own preference, whatever you like. You may not even put curly brackets because there is a single statement in each one of them. Yeah, you don't have to. You have an error? Yeah. What does it say? Read your error. Okay, bring a mouse to it. Okay, what does it say? You cannot find symbol. That means it doesn't know what collections is. Now, what did I say collections was? Now to take hints, you are doing net deals, right? To take hints, notice how it says alt enter shows hint. So do your alt and do your enter. Okay. Oh, come to this one. Yeah, click on this one. On collections. Okay, click. Now alt enter. Now it says add the import statement. That looks the most logical because collections is a class. So go and go return. And there it is. Now come to your second method. Okay, it says change method type to card. You're saying I will return void and you're returning something. So it says, and say yes, that's what I want to do. Do a double click, select it here. So it should return a card type, not void. Right? You have to learn to read your errors, guys. If you don't read your errors, you're not going to get far. So bring your mouse over it. It's so helpful. It's such a helpful ID. BlueJ is not helpful at all. That's why I don't use it. But it's so visual that you can always mix and match. Bring your mouse over your error. It will tell you what the error is. Cannot find symbol. It says, I don't know what is this. That's what it's saying. Cannot find him. It's as simple English. Cannot find symbol or identifier. I cannot find this name. You say, okay, what can't you find? Why? Then you can do an alt enter for hints and try to read through the hints to see what your problem is. Usually the first one will work, but it may not. So it's not always right. But see what it is trying to say. Okay. So notice if I do, and that's what Vivek, is it Vivek? Yeah. Vivek had this. He said void. His return type was void. Bring your mouse over it. Or even over here, it's the same thing. It says incompatible types, unexpected return value. It's making sense if you know a little bit of Java. It says incompatible types. You'll say, what is incompatible? Then it says it is an unnecessary return statement. Even it is telling you it is not necessary. How can you have a return when your return type is void? You can't have a return statement, it is saying. You'll say, but I need it. Then it says, okay, do an alt and an enter to look at hints. And it says, oops, sorry, wrong place. Bring your mouse over it, an alt and enter. And it says change method return type to card. And that's what you wanted to do. But maybe that's not what you wanted to do. You made a mistake. It says remove unnecessary return statement. Retain expression as statement. So it's giving you options. I'll say, oh, I am returning something and I made this mistake because that's how I started. I said, it doesn't. And then I said, oh, deal means I'm giving it to somebody. Right? When I say deal a card, you have to give it to somebody. You deal to a player. So the player must get it back. So I'm returning it. So therefore I needed a card return type. And therefore my return statement and void was caching. Right? Learn to read errors, guys. You have to. And that's dealing the card. Notice what did I do? Did you see the beauty? I just used a method called remove. You'll say, where does it come from? I've used it with det.remove. Det is an array list. Remove is a method in the remove. A very common method. There is an add, there is a remove, there is a get. Get just looks at it. It doesn't remove it from the array list. Remove removes it. Your array list is now one shorter in size. It has gone, the size has gone from 52 to 51. Every time you remove, it reduces in size. And you're removing from 0th position. That means at the top. So when it removes, the others shift forward. When you remove, the others shift forward. So you don't have to do anything at all. If I was using an array here, which I could have used an array because deck of cards is exactly 52 size. I could have used an array. Manipulation myself. I have to write code for it. I would have to do it. I goes to 0 and then I shift everything from 1. Unless of course there are methods available. I know there is one in array list, so why even bother? I know it works. I know it's there. You have an add, you have a delete, you have a remove. You can remove from a position 0. You can remove from any position. From it if you know what the data is. You can get it. Get is like return, just showing it. It doesn't remove it physically from the array. All you have to do is go to the array list class, look at its methods, and you will know. Right? So array list is very common. I'll use it again in more examples. So learn how to use it. So that's it. And last one, and just the last one, and then I'll give you a break. Promise. And this one just returns the toString, our favorite toString. I mean, it doesn't return kind of, it returns the information. I don't know how to say it, the card information. Because it doesn't return them as per se, you know what I mean? It doesn't remove them. It's just returning a string representation. As a string, let's say as a string. That way, it kind of makes more sense. And what does it return? Remember, it returns a string.
Okay, now let's see if you can do it. There is remember to do your override. That way, any mistakes you made, you'll be caught. It's a public method. It's called toString, takes no parameters and returns a string. That's what it does. And of course, it will say there is an error, but we are okay. Okay, now it returns, right? A return statement. As soon as I do this, see, I'll be okay. Though it's not the right one, but at least the error will go okay. So now what do you need to return? Think about it. What do you need? A deck of cards has 52 cards in it. I want to return the information about every card. So what will I need? A loop to go through the deck, right? I'll pick up a card and I'll return its string representation. And remember, I've already written that string representation in the card group, in the card class. I'll use that. It will say jack of spades, jack of diamonds, one of this, two of this, or whatever. Right? So now let's write it. So the for toString method will here, let's create a local string variable. You can call it whatever you like. I just usually call it info, but I leave it to you. You can call it a better name, maybe deck string, if that makes more sense. You don't have to initialize it to blank, but you can. Notice I never say new here. I don't go this. I could. There is nothing wrong, guys. Keep in mind there is nothing wrong in doing this, but we don't do it. And it's not why we don't do it. Because string is such a common class, Java has allowed you to use this object or this class, creating objects of this class without calling its constructor. It does it for you. It calls the constructor only here. But strings, all variables, not variables, objects are, these are objects. Deck string is an object because string is a class, capital S. So it does this for you. You can if you want to. There is internally a little difference from where the space is given, but we usually don't. But it's kind of there, okay? For your information, it is there. So if you want to keep a note for yourself, it is there. And if you want to initialize it to empty, you can even do it this way. Initialize it to empty, because if I don't initialize it, then it doesn't exist, kind of. Then I can concatenate it. You'll see I need it, the concatenation. Therefore, I've given it an initial value because I'll do a concatenation. Use a for loop. What are you extracting? You are extracting card objects from the deck of cards. What was it? Deck. For each loop again. Well, at the end, I'll return deck string. I take an empty string, right? I take an empty string. You could have done it like this, a new empty string, but we don't. Just because, as I said, short form. Now I'm going through the deck. I know that out of deck, what is coming out? Card objects. So on the left hand side, say what is coming out. Here you could have called it anything you like. Call it card just because it makes it a little easy. And Java is case sensitive. So card with a capital C is a class. Card with a small c is an object. What do you want to do? You want to take your deck of strings, deck string, and to it, you know how to do it? You can concatenate. You know the concatenation operator? The plus is the concatenation operator and plus equal is together. Have you seen this before? And then you want to concatenate what? Take your card, call its toString method, and it returns a string and concatenate it here. So what does it do? The new value of deck string is the plus equal is the combined operator for concatenation. Plus here is not the plus mathematical plus. The plus here is the concatenation operator. And if you haven't seen this before and it kind of is strange to you, this is all I'm doing. Take the previous value of deck string, which is empty to begin with, and add the cards to string return. Remember what card to string was returning you? Jack of whatever. It was whatever was returning you. And don't forget to put a \n. Otherwise, they'll all come in the same line. We want them on different lines. So if you want to do this, I would prefer that you use so what I had used was a plus equal, which is combined operator. Plus equal means this plus this. But if this makes more sense to you, it's completely okay. So when it begins, therefore I had to initialize my deck string to blank. Because if I don't initialize it, it's basically God knows what, garbage. So it will do this. It will call the first card. So what we saw in BlueJ, it will exactly now show you. It will say 2 of spades. Then it will say 3 of spades, 4 of spades. Then it will come to these diamonds because it's in sequence. If you shuffle them, they will no longer be in sequence. After shuffling, you can do it. I can prove it to you. Okay. So now anything else that we need? Oh, return. Yep. Anything else we need in deck of cards? I haven't written anything. If you need it, you can add. You can add your draw methods. You can add whatever you like. I've only kept it at minimum. Save this, take it, copy it, put it in BlueJ. Do you understand what I've done in toString? The toString is going to show you what's in the deck. So I picked up one element at a time from the deck, and I have attached it to a string, and I have sent the string back at the end. And that string started with an empty string, and then I said for every card, I called its toString method. I've already written a toString method in the card first. That is returning me the face name and the suit. The face name and the suit. So now it will look like, it will say it. You will see how it says it. So take it from here, go back to your, oh, this is what I did. I changed my windows. Oh, I don't like this at all. There it is. It's just easy. Okay. Okay, so copy here. And compile it just to be sure we didn't make any mistakes. Oh, package statement again. Okay, no syntax errors. Of course, this would have told us if there were any syntax errors, okay? This would have told us. Oh, I've kind of escaped. I don't know how to bring it back to its size. I don't see the, I've pressed some button. That's why I have to go this way now, and I hate that. Okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, now let's go to BlueJ again and run it. Oh, no, not you. What did I press here that my things are gone? What did I press? Something for sure. Can I say bring back my buttons? Full screen. Okay, there it is. Alt Shift Enter. There it is. I must have pressed something. Okay, there it is. There, and okay, so it's ready. Do a right click and run its constructor. I just want to show you the cards, nothing else. Okay, run it. I'm calling it whatever. You can call it whatever. Now, instead of inspecting, though inspect what was showing you, but here I'll. So it's kind of difficult to read, but notice as you go forward, it will say 2 of spades, /n will appear here because it's just BlueJ showing you. Then it will say 3 of spades, 4 of spades, 5 of spades, and so on. Take your mouse and go forward. Just take your mouse here and just, you can inspect it if you like. It will just take more time. So I would just kind of take my mouse here and go forward. See here. Oh, it's not even going forward. That's how it comes. But at least it gives you an idea. It says 2 of spades, 3 of spades, and so on. I should be able to, oh, get. There is a get there. Let's try get. See if get Bex looks better. Okay, we'll say string 1. Okay, now I can, it's still, I converted it into a string, but I just have still the more methods or whatever. Look at, notice the number of methods in the string class. Inspect isn't, I don't like to inspect it, but that's the better, that's all you will get, guys. Sorry about that, but that's all you get. It's just not very clear, and I can't even take my mouse forward. That's all it happens when I take it. But notice, if you just press the arrow key, it's showing you 5 of spades and so on. That's all it does. More time, one by one. But that's your deck of cards. In NetBeans, if I run it, definitely it will look much bigger. Now shuffle them. Do a shuffle. Close this. Do a shuffle of the cards. And now do again a 2-string. Notice it has started from 7 of clubs. It isn't 2 of spades anymore. So it has shuffled. God knows how big or bad or good, but it has shuffled. And it will, of course, be good. It's a predefined method. They must have done a good job of that. So notice now I have 7 of spades, 3 of clubs, 5 of clubs, and so on. So it has been shuffled. The deck of cards is shuffled. You want to deal the top of card without doing anything, just deal. So your 7 of clubs will go away. Okay, so let's deal. And this is the card that will come out. 7 of clubs has come out. See, it returned you a value. The top has gone out. And now if you do a string again, the 7 is gone. You're starting from 3 of clubs. So it is working. So BlueJ is an easy way of seeing that a class will work. Of course, I could write a tester. It will just take me maybe 10 minutes, but you should be able to do this. If I was creating more and more like I will do, it's just quick. I checked my card was working, then I checked my deck of cards is working, and I've done 2 jobs already without writing my test. But it doesn't take long, even that. Okay, are you okay? Now our third job is to write a game. So I'll show you my game. And then, as I said, when not everybody was here, your next assignment is to group up pairs and create a game of cards. No cheating, no nothing. Your original game of cards. I mean, of course, not original doesn't mean you will create a new one. It exists, but when I say original, I mean
no copying and cheating from it. So I'll do something for you, and I've given you a tic-tac-toe game. I haven't looked at it. I really haven't. He sent me a link. Derek sent me a link. I put it on Blackboard. I haven't looked at it, but it will give you. I'm sure it will give you some idea. I don't know what he's done there. I just gave it to you because another couple of students found it helpful. Right. So here we'll take a break here now. It's 12:30. I'll write a tester for you here also just to show you, but I'll write a game for you. It's called the war game. So again, Jared had done it for me. I kind of had to learn it from him. I didn't know how to play it, but I'll show you how to play it and then it will go. And I'll give you my code. So I will kind of write a few snippets and then I'll give you the rest of it. And go through it so that you don't have to type it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll explain how it is. So take a break, please come back in 20 minutes and then we'll do the rest. So you can start finding a partner for yourself in this class if you want. That will be better instead of looking another section, the other section together. So you can, it can be a class assignment, but you won't be able to finish it. You won't. So I know you won't be able to finish it. So you'll start it here. I'll see what you're doing. I'll have to take your names and say this group is working on this group. And maybe you won't have time after I finish class. I don't know. But I need to know which two people are working and what you thought about. And then you will work on it. And maybe I'll give you, not tonight, but maybe a couple of days.
We can also make pairs in another.
The disadvantage of that would be if I need you to present it in class, then it will be difficult for me. So I would prefer that you do it here. But if there is nothing, then you can. I would like you to present the work in class. Everybody will come here and show their game.
But two of my friends, they want to change their class to from Thursday to Tuesday.
That's fine then if they want to.
They can?
Yeah, if they want to.
Okay.
It's a group assignment, right?
Yes, good people.
Just wanted to because I have to really go into this.
Oh,
It's been
okay.
120.
Okay, that's okay. Yep.
There's no
So
subtoday.
it won't be due today, but you need to see who you want to partner
Yeah.
with and then which game you want to do.
You have to decide.
Exactly. That's all I need from you. Any more than two. You could have even done it singularly, but I just thought it's because it's kind of your first bigger project. Maybe it will help you to work with it. Okay, but two, no more than two.
I just want to ask you, like, the base name and the base value. Would it be easier to set the base name according to the base value?
The opposite, you mean? Or you mean
Yeah.
the user gives the face value and you set the face name
Yeah,
yourself?
accordingly. I think that'd be easier.
Now it depends upon the game. I'm going 2 to 14. If somebody had to go 1 to 13, you would just have to change your logic. But would it be easier is the question. So the user gives a value which you check must be between either 2 or 14 and 1 and 13, and then you assign it a value. Here you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
use a hash table.
And
Then you will use another collection called hash map. You will keep your values 2, 3, 4 till 14, and you will keep
Accordingly
it
set it.
correspondingly valued. Then it will be as easy as V gives a value, you pick it up and you assign.
sure. I want to return the 2 or 3 values at the same time. Can we do it?
No, return always returns a single value, but you can always return an array of them. Your return type can be an array, right? But you can't say return this, return this, return this. You can't have more than one return statement. You can only return one, but the object can be a collection. So you can return more than one values that way. Okay?
Excuse me, I think you have a letter for me, like my friend told me, that's a dean letter or something like that.
Oh, what's your name?
Tejveer.
Oh, they emailed me yesterday. I won't tell you any information about
yeah,
class
yeah.
assignments before the class, okay?
Yeah, actually I have to go somewhere after the class, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay, you can always tell me. You can always come in the Thursday class if you want. If there are things like that, we can adjust. But I'm not telling you whether there's an assignment or not.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is that I don't know about it.
Yeah, so if I miss that class, so I can also.
Always take the other class. Yeah. So, for example, if you had something urgent today and you couldn't come today, you could all tell me that I'll come in the Thursday one.
Okay,
And that's okay.
thank you.
Okay? That reminds me.
Letter.
This letter is, if you open it up, it will tell you all students who get this letter had more than 80% in their aggregated percents.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a Dean's note.
Okay, so how can I use it? Like,
In your resume, you can say,
okay.
I was in the list of Deans, if that's what it is, right?
Hmm.
I was in the Dean's list,
Okay.
and so because you scored an aggregate of 80 above it.
Yeah.
That's in your first semester. Okay? That's why you have it. Take your NOVA case and you can put it on your resume. I'll give it to you. I think there was one for you YouTube. I forgot to, it's good. I think, yeah, I saw your name, right?
I'll give it to you. This section, I didn't give it away. Let me get my lunch too. I'm hungry.
That's right. That's right. That thing that like, you can use it and that you know that just use for what skills and level more resolution. Yeah, that's not understand where. Okay, you
is again or are you doing new classes?
I'll wait another couple of minutes, okay? Because by the time everybody left, it was a little late. Then I'll show you what I've done.
And Harmanpreet Singh Sidhu.
Okay, so let's start. I think it has been 20 minutes, right? Students who want to come back will into time. Okay, so what I've done here is while you were awaiting your lunch, I kind of wrote the main method. All I did in the main was to show you that the deck of cards works, right? What we did in BlueJ. So I created a deck, I printed out the cards, then I shuffled it, I printed out again, I dealt the top of the card and I printed out again. Just to show you that things are working. So if you run this, so notice how these are the first 52 cards of your deck. 2 of spades, 3 of spades, and notice how they are in sequence because we created it that way. We went spades and then we went diamonds and then we went hearts and then we went clubs, right? After that, I shuffled them. And notice after shuffling, their sequence has changed, right? After the sequence has changed, I removed the top of the card. I dealt it. So 7 of diamonds goes away and it starts with 2s of diamonds. So what I did in BlueJ, because I know my card class is working, that we tested, I kind of wrote this quickly so that you could see the answers clearly. In BlueJ, it was kind of the 2-string method wasn't so clear. But here all I did was I create, and this is how you write your testers, right? You create a deck of cards, then you print out its contents. I shuffled it, I printed it out again, I dealt the top of the card and I printed it out. This is not your main, this is just to show you. So if you don't want to copy, that's fine. This is just to show you that what we did in BlueJ is more clear here. Okay, so I hope you by now know. I just created, and remember it gives me a Java file by the same name as the name of the package. So I put it had a main method. So I create my deck, an object of type deck of cards. And I say, okay, create it. As soon as I say new deck, remember in the constructor, it created those 52 cards. So I said, okay, print it out. I called the 2-string method. Then I said, I just put the line so that we could see. Then I said, shuffle it, print it out again. I said, deal the top card, and I said, print it out again, and it works perfectly. Those are the 3 methods I had to test. I wanted to test the constructor. I wanted to test the method shuffle. I wanted to test the method
deal top card, and it will string method. All methods are working. And you should always, as you create classes, check that they work. So one way is to do it in BlueJ. Copy, paste, compile, and create objects. The other way is quickly write your own main method. And this was what I did in BlueJ. So this way, the printout is the output is clear, not the printout. The output is clear. So it proves it works. But my aim is not just this. Now I have to really, now they're ready, but useless. So now I want to play a game. Right, so I put this officially on Blackboard, but you have to do the same. Now I'm going to create a game called War. It's called the War game, right? That's what it is called. So I'll try to show you what the game is so that you understand the code. You can play cards well. I need a partner. Page come. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of roughly taking it, but my game will do this. It will take the deck of cards and it will take 2 players, right? And in the players, one player will get one bet, half of it, so it will kind of give half of. And this is how it goes. So I open one card, so pay attention so that you understand what game I am playing. So I take my deck and I kind of divide it into 2 players, right? So you will see when I come, I've kind of written it because I'd already written it, but we'll go through it. So I create 2 hands, P1 and P2 hand, right? So they're basically a list. So half Tej has half and I have half, okay? So now this is how we play the game. I open my first card and Tej opens his first card. And since his 9 is greater than my 6, he takes it and puts it in his pile underneath or wherever, it doesn't really matter, right? We again open a card. So I open Q and Tej opens 10, so this is mine. At the end, whoever has the most cards, I mean, one guy will lose all cards and the other person will get all the cards, is the winner. Now this may happen. Now there is a situation where, so there are 3 options. Tej's card is more than mine, he takes away the cards. My card is more than Tej, I take away his card. But suppose by chance we have the same card. So, by chance we do have the same card, right? So it goes in the war pile. It doesn't belong to anybody, right? So one gone. Now, anyway, this is how I learned it from Jared. He says once the cards match, they go into the match pile and we will automatically, without even seeing, put 2 more cards into the war pile, right? So I just put them and he puts 2 too. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3 or whatever. And now we open our 3rd card again. So I open 9 and Tej opens 2. And since my 9 is great, if this had repeated, we had the same card, we would again put it in the pile and add 2 more. So since my 9 is greater than 2, I am the winner. I take his and I take everything that's in the war pile and they become my cards. So the game ends when one person is left with no cards. Or if we had a tie and we had to throw 2, but he didn't even have 2 cards, he only had 1, even then I take his cards. So that's the game. So that's the game I'm creating. Yes.
What do you do then? You place in the table?
The war pile goes in the table. So I and his cards were same, we place it on the table. It's a war pile, right? It's a war, we are doing a war. Then we take out 2 more and just place them. So this 2 it's just random. You could go 2, you could go 3. The aim is to finish off quickly, right? And then we open the 3rd card again. If mine is greater, I take it, everything. And if his is greater, he takes it. But if it repeats, again the 3rd card is more, we again place it in the war pile and put 2 more and then open the 3rd card. So that's my game. So that's called the war game. It's a war and this is called the war pile. As things go on in, they are called the war pile. And at the end, one person will lose all his or her cards and the other person will have the deck and he is the winner. That's the game I'm trying to play. So it's not invented, I think it's a game. But since Jared had written it, I had to I had to understand what the game was. Otherwise, how would I code it? You know what I mean? So he had the code, but if you have the code and you don't know what you're doing, it's useless. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I've shown you the game. Thank you, Tej. I've shown you the game, and now I'm going to write it for you. So now your assignment 2 is you will pair up with somebody in your class. I would prefer it in the class because you will be presenting it in class, right? So you will pair up in the class. You will look for a card game. In that card game, you will use my card class and my deck of cards. You can add more if you like. You can add more methods if you like. You may need a draw. I don't need a draw, but maybe your game needs a draw. Who knows? I don't know what card game you will create. And you will create that class for me and then you will submit it. So it's pairwise because it's just a bigger project in the sense that you may be required to do a little more. Like this game was not easy to write. It took me a couple of hours, you know what I mean? And I already had Jared's help. I knew how to play. So definitely please pick a game that you know how to play. And then you code it. And then once you code it, and you'll write a tester. I'll show you how to write a tester. I'll create a game object of my game and I'll just play. That's what I do. So I'll show you how I do it so that you have an idea. And once this is ready, you will zip up all your Java files and one of you will submit it. I'll put the instruction. One of you will submit it on Blackboard. You will get the same marks. If time permits, it's all about time. If time permits, I'll allow each group to present their game in class. That way it's easy. You are seeing what you do. But my emphasis is not that you can play the game. My emphasis is that you can code the game. Right? So good, efficient coding is what I'm looking for. Right? So any new methods you can add on your own. I don't think anything is required in the card class. What can you change in card class? Though I had an idea from, what's your name? Abhinav was saying, instead of giving, and it's not a bad idea at all, it's good. He says, why even ask the face name from the user? I mean, they're fixed, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till A's are fixed. They have a value. Ask the value because values are easy to give. To me, face names are easy to give because we all know about Jack, but we don't know it has a value 11. But whatever. He said, ask only for one of them because the second one automatically is linked. So if I give a face value 11, the face name is Jack. Or vice versa. If I give the face name as Jack, the value is 11. He says, why do we need to ask 3 values in a card? Why not give 2 and the third is automatically done? I think it is easy, but when we start with a card and we say what attributes you have, we kind of can't say, oh, the one will become automatic. So one is kind of automatic. It depends upon each other. So you can do that if you like. I mean, I'm not stopping you if you want to improve my code, my card class. Nothing stops you. You can do whatever you like. Okay. So let me write my game for you. We'll go through it. I'll give this on Blackboard so that you have it. So as I've said, openly, I have taken Jared's help, which is not bad at all. You can take help, but there is no copying of code. Right? You do everything. So I'll go through what I have done. Okay, so since 2 players are playing my game, maybe your game is played by 3, I don't know, maybe by 4. It entirely is your cup of tea, whatever you want to do. So I'm playing there are 2 players. Now, instead of creating a player class who's a person, but the only thing important for me, 2 players, is dividing the cards. You know what I mean? So I didn't create a person class and I said, player 1 was a person, player 2 was a person, which you can do. You can give each person a name if you like, and then you can divide the cards. But still, the person will need an array list to save his cards. So we do need 2 array lists, right? So I didn't kind of go person. Person could have been created. It could have the person would have a name, and though it is not a characteristic of a person, every person would also need an array list to save the cards. So you know, it's not a person. Every person doesn't have an array. I mean, when I say person, what comes on your mind is name, age, height, weight, but you never say array list to save cards in a person class. So I didn't go that route. So what I've done is I'm creating now a game of war, and I will pass this on to you. I just wanted to save time. Typing just takes time. Hopefully you can understand what I've done. Right? I create 2 array lists. One I've called P1 hand and one I've called P2 hand. Right? So I have 2 persons, P1 hand. So what comes in your hand? Like we always say hand, we say hand of cards. So I've created array list because you could use arrays again. I'm equally dividing it. But as I said, array list is just much easier to use. So I stick with array list. What does my constructor do? The constructor creates the 2 array lists. Remember, we always have to create them. And then I create a new deck of cards. I have to create a deck of cards. I already have that class. I create it. I shuffle it. I shuffle my deck. And then I say, deal the cards. Now you say, what is this deal the cards? I've written the deal the cards here myself. I've written it myself. Right? So what does the deal do? Deal takes now, since this is coming from Jared, I will make changes. I am making changes. I don't want to see any magic numbers in my code. So before I place it on Blackboard, I'll change these magic numbers, right? To me, these magic numbers don't make sense. Like printing doesn't make sense at all. So I don't print anything, I return. So I have made some changes and I want you to kind of be careful about these things because these are important. So I don't know, like I'm not saying he hasn't done it well. I'm only saying I'll do this, okay? So I'll not use any magic numbers. I'll take 52 and I'll make it a constant number of cards and I'll use it. So I want to make some changes. So it's almost ready, but I'll make those changes. So see what I've done. Take the whole loop, do it 52 times, and then half of them add to the array list of the first person, the rest half to the other. You will say, how do I say half? See, I've done a small trick. Anything that is divisible by 2, it doesn't really matter. I could have said divisible by, like, it's just saying, is it divisible by? So card number 1 goes to one person. Card number 2 will go to the second. Third will go to the first one. Fourth will go to the second. I'm just saying if the value of that card number is
even, it goes to 1%. If it is odd, it goes to other. It's just of divide like this. I don't want to even do that. You could say the first 52 is half. 26 cards goes to person one. You write one for loop and give it to one person. You take 27 to 52 and give it to other. You could do it. But this way you are again doing a shuffle of the shuffle. You know what I mean? You are doing, that's usually how you deal. If more than two players are playing or play, you kind of go 1, 1, 1, 1. But if you want to go this way, you could replace it. You could say for I is equal to 1 to 26 would be the first one. Add it, and then 27 to 52 would go to the second one. I am making 2 pies out of it. I don't know what your card came with. I just wrote this. I like it because you're seeing the modulus function, and it's kind of usually how you deal. And you deal, and notice how I have said I've used a deal top card. So I remove the top card from my deck and I add it to one person. If it is an odd number, I add it to P2. If it is an even number, I add it to P1. You know this modulus function? Even numbers. Modulus says divide, and if the remainder is 0, it is an even number. This is an even number card. So these are even numbered cards. Not in numbered, like not 2, 4, 6. The sequence. So first card is odd, goes to one person. The second one goes to the other. So even numbered cards is how I'm distributing them. Not so even numbered, even placed. Let's say even placed. Or cards placed at even positions. I make it, I don't want to say the value inside is even. Okay, so cards in even positions go to one player and cards in odd positions go to the other. That's all it is doing. So the first one goes to P2 because it will go in the else, and 2 to the first one, 3 to the second one, 4, 5, 6. So all evens in one and all odds in one. And I'm just dividing it. So that's what my game starts with, right? So I say, okay, so I start the game. I'll need 2 hands. I'll need my deck of cards. I shuffle them and I start dealing the cards. In deal the cards, I'm using the deal top card of my deck of cards. Remove the first one, give it, remove the second. So it is being removed. At the end, this deck is gone, right? There is nothing. It's an empty. If you look at its size, it will be empty. But 2 new array lists have been created, one with 26 and one with 26. So that's dealing the cards. And then comes the main thing, play the game. What will I do? What will I do in my main? Think of what will I do in my main. What is it called? Game of war. So in my main, I'll kind of put this in. This was just to show you that it works. This was just to show you that it works. So how will I play my game? What will be my job number 1? Uh-oh, somewhere I'm missing a bracket. Okay, here, that's main. And that's my class, my tester. Okay, so what will I be doing? When I play the game, what should I do? The first job is of my game of war. I'll create an object. I'll call it game or my game. Right? This will be my step number 1. It doesn't need anything from me. Right? I create a game. I say create a game of war. And in that game of war, the constructor will create 2 array list, will create a deck of cards there, and will deal the cards. So it calls deal the card. And notice how I've made deal the cards a private method. Outside world doesn't need to know. The dealing of the cards has to be done by the main. So these scope specifiers are important. And then all I have to do is play the game. The play the game takes the rest of the other. And it is returning a string. So go to your tester, take a string. And this is your winner. It will tell you who the winner is. I'm just calling it winner, right? And play the game. There. And at the end, it will write for me who is the winner. Oh God, not again. I'm pressing the wrong key. That's all I'm doing. What was it? Full screen. Okay. Right. Shift Alt Enter, right? Shift Alt Enter. No, I'm doing something wrong. What is it to format it? Is it a Shift Alt Enter? Alt Shift and Enter, right? Oh, F. Oops, that's why. Thank you. So if I do this, that's all I do in the main. I create a game object and I play it. That's all I do. Right? So I don't know who the winner is, but if I do it, I should be able to run it. I mean, I haven't done everything correctly yet, but it should run. So if I take this and I run it, it should tell me, unless some mistakes are here. So the game was played, and after the again printing, just because I wanted to check if it was running properly, I'll remove all printing. But after, it will kind of say, oh, it's still not ended. It has stopped somewhere. It's still jack of cards in head 20. Oh, this is showing you the first one also. Only the first one. Who has who?
So these are the cards that belong to player 1. And these are the cards that belong to player 2. So maybe it's not yet complete. I haven't completed it yet.
But it's that's all you would do. Play the game, unless I'm doing something else. We'll check. So this is so you will write your tester like this for me. So I need from you a game, and I need a tester so that I can run it. You give me all files, all 4 files. If you change anything, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's look at my game of war again. Okay, so now till when do I play the game?
While, notice my loop, while P1's hand is not empty and P2's hand is not empty. So what is this is empty method? It is a method of the array list. Is empty returns true if the size is 0. You could use size here. So is empty is a method in the array list class. P1 hand and P2 hand are both array lists. So I'm saying while they are not empty, both have something, whatever it is, play a hand. And that hand is basically what I did with Page. I'll show you what it is. But if one person's hand becomes empty, then player 2 is the winner, return this. And if the other person's hand becomes empty, player 1 is. So that's how I played it. Right? But now where is the logic? The logic is in player 1. So do you see the use of the while loop?
So I keep playing the game till both my hands are not, like, they're both not empty. So while not empty the first one and not empty the second one, keep playing the game. So play hand, I'll show you what play hand is. Now, if the first person has no cards left, P1 hand is an array list. Is it empty? Is empty is just a method. You could have done this, though this is empty looks more good. You could have done this. You could have said P1 hand, size is equal to 0. You could have done this. The first one just is more English like, is empty.
I'm saying is the array list empty. So is empty is a method which actually checks if the size is 0. Or you could say P1 hand size is equal to 0. So if first person's hand becomes empty, that means all cards are gone. Who is the winner? Player 2 is the winner. You return this message to the main. Otherwise, you return player 1 is the winner. So play the game is what I'm saying. But we return it. So maybe somewhere else there is more to come.
Okay, now what is this play hand? This is exactly what I and Tej were doing. Right, so let's go to play hand. So I'm going to first kind of look through everything that it is according to how I like, and then I'll give it to you. So what have I done? I've removed the first card from the first array list, and I've removed the first card from the second. That's exactly what I and Tej did. He took his first card and I took. We both removed it from our array list, and then we compared it. The comparison could be one is greater than the other, this one is greater than the other, or both are equal. There are only 3 options, right? So I write an if statement. There are 3 ifs. So here I've said no printing in class definition placed here to check if working properly. So I only want to check how many cards he or she has, and then I'll go on. So I'll remove my systems at the end. There will be here. Now I'm saying, is the face value of the first card greater than the face value of the second card? So Tej has, the other person has more value. So what do? I add both the cards to whose hand? The person whose card's value is bigger.
So suppose I was P1 and Tej is P2. So his face value is greater than my face value. Remember, there is a get face value method in the card class. And P1 card and P2 card are just cards. You say where?
I got them out. Here. Remove the first one and put it in P1 card. It's a card variable. Move from P2 and put it in P2 card. So P1 and P2 are cards. Then I compare. If Tej's card has more than my card value, I give both cards to him. P1 hands, they get added to P1's hands, right? If P2 is more, they get added to, they get added to P2's hands, both cards. And now it's a war. Otherwise, it's a war. So there are 3 options. One is greater than the other is greater than the first, or it goes in the war pile. What comes in the middle is called the war pile. So I create a war pile, right? I create a war pile. I put the card from both P1 and P2, I add it to the war. And I play the war hand now. So the war hand says, take out 2 more cards, add it, again take the third card, compare, and so on. So that's a war hand. It's called a war hand. So that's what is happening in a war. Otherwise, it's a war.
So we kind of create a war pile. So you create a war pile and you play a war hand.
And what is war hand? Exactly what I was telling you to do. What is it doing? Now it is checking. Again, magic numbers less than 3.
Two cards in between, and then we again compare the third card. So I'm saying at least you must have 3 cards to play further. If you don't have 3 cards, the game has finished, kind of. So I kind of see that if one person has less than 3 cards, he will just kind of give it to the other person and say, I'm lost. It's lost, right? Less than 3 means he can't play further. Because we have made this rule that after the war, both of us will put 2 cards in between and we'll open the third card. But if the person doesn't have 3 cards, the game has ended anyway.
Okay, so what do? If the person has less than 3, I add all. You'll say, what is this add all? Another method of array list. So there are 2 array lists. One has some elements and one has another. If you want to add all the elements of one array list to another, you use the method add all. It's such a versatile class. It's full of methods. So I don't have to kind of write a loop, remove it here, add it here, remove from here, add here. Add all will just take everything from the other person and put it. Why this person has less than 3 cards? So I'm saying add all his cards, P1's cards, to my hand, to P2 hand, and clear his list. Clear method is available in array list. It just clears it, removes everything. Size is 0. Size becomes 0. And then I take it, I also to my hand, because I'm P2, I also add everything that's in the war pile. That also becomes mine. And in a sense, I'm done. I just do a return. So you'll say return, but your type is void. I'm not returning anything. I'm just saying whoever called me, return to that method. If the second person has less than 3 cards, I do the same thing. The same thing. Everything is given to P1. But now if we both have 2 cards, then what do? We add, I remove 2 from P1. I take 2 from P2. Remember, 2 cards have to be brought into the war pile. They come into the war pile. And then we again do the same job. So this system printfs are again just for printing purposes. Then again, I do the same job. I kind of say whose base value is better and so on. And we kind of keep going this. But it can happen that nobody is greater. I again war pile again. So I keep playing till it ends. That's all the game is about. Yes. Where you remove 2 cards, when you come here to the war pile. When I remove 1, automatically the rest are moved up. So the new card is again at position 0. So you don't say remove 0 and 1, otherwise you skip the card in between. Right? So remove method of the array list will remove it from the 0th position, and automatically from 1 to whatever will move forward. So they are kind of moved forward. So it again is at position 0. Therefore you say remove 0, remove 0 in that sequence. If you go remove 0 and remove 1, 0 will be removed, the others will be shifted. So you are basically taking the card and not removing it. So that's how remove works. So what did we do? I took 2 cards, added it to the war pile. Page took 2 cards, added it to the war pile. So we took 2 hands each. As I said, we just made it up. When I asked Jared why, he says, it's just a rule that you start at the beginning. Do you want to take 2 cards each? Do you want to take 3 cards each? Do you want to take 4? You make it. So we just took 2. Therefore, it checks, do you have more than 3 cards? 3 or more. Only then the game can go forward. And then we remove those and we add them to the war pile. And then now again we pick up the topmost card again from here. So we've given away 2 to the war pile, both of us, and then we pick up another again. And now we again start. Now it's a war, and the war means whose card is bigger, right? And depending upon that, whose card is bigger? Whose card is bigger? The same kind of thing is repeated, but this time I have to add it to the war pile. So if I can improve it, I'll try to improve it. In the sense, of course, I'll remove my system out printlns. I don't want those. No classes will ever print anything. All your printing must be done in your application. No Java class does any printing at all. Nothing. But this is not a class in a sense. The game of war is a game. You know what I mean? Like it's a game. I'm writing it. So I just so in this systems, printlns are not bad because it's not as per se a class. It's a game I can do. In the tester, all I'm doing is create an object of it and run it. And basically my application is this game. So I've used the card class and the deck of cards class. Those are classes and they should have no printing at all, and they don't. We don't have any printing. But the game of war is actually a application. It's a game you are writing. So here system out printlns are not like prohibited. You know what I mean? But if somebody was going to play your game, that's all they'll do. They'll say, buy the game from the market in main and play it.
And so printing in here is not bad. So he's doing printing, which is okay. And you can keep it if you like. I'll see how I want, if it works better in the mail. But this is an application. I could have actually wrote everything. I could have written the main method right in this class. And I'm not sure if he's written it too. I don't think. Does he have a main in this class? I don't think so. No, he doesn't. So, I mean, he's written it differently. Like he's written the same way like I did. Create it here, but it's not playing the game. So something somewhere is missing. Or do I have more? There should be more, because here it says war, player 1, jack of clubs, cards in hand is 22. He still has 22 cards, and the other person still has 9 of hearts cards. So I don't know, like either it has, I'll do debug it and see. Like as I said, I'm trying to complete it in the sense, if I don't say cheat, I don't want to cheat too, right? So I'm kind of trying to make some changes. But I would like to print who is the winner in the middle. But as I said, this is itself an application. So now that you have seen how the game is placed, hopefully this code will be easier to understand. So I'll polish this code according to how I like it, and I'll put it on Blackboard. But deck of cards and cards we've all done together in class. So I'll put that on Blackboard. We've completed those. Those are the 2 classes I would like you to use. But you can change them if you like. It's up to you. Don't make them worse, but if you want to make them better, sure. Right? So don't, more efficient, of course, is most welcome, but don't go down this. Right? Just for the heck of it, it makes your game easy, don't spoil their efficiency. Right now, card is checking everything, and deck of cards is doing shuffling and dealing the top of card. If you want to add a method, draw, sure. If you want to add another method, I don't know, divide into, sure, whatever you like. It's up to you. Okay, but don't put it down. If you want to raise its standard, definitely do it. Definitely do it. That's up to you. I'll leave it to you. Okay, so this is my, so do you understand how I'm playing the game? Like how the game was? It was necessary that you understand how we play so that the code makes sense to you. Okay, so it was no sense writing the code in class. So I took it and I'm changing it still, but I mean, it worked. Logically, it should work. Now I see something is missing, but that's the game. Okay, so deal top, check 3 possibilities. One is more, the other one is more. They're the same. If there are more, just pass it on to the other array list. So kind of think of these are 2 array lists. If the top card is, remove it and check. If one is greater, it moves to this pile. If the other one is greater, both move to this pile. But if they are equal, they move to the war pile. And when they move to the war pile, it's just a different array list. All I'm doing is array lists, nothing else. And then deal 2 from both and add it to the war pile. So war pile is increasing in size. You want to increase it in size. And again, pick the 3rd one. Same, repeat. Not same, give to the person. And who takes the war pile? The person who wins. Not wins, whose face value is more. That's how the game is played. So your job is to look for a game which is easy. It's not, if it is too tough, maybe it won't be doable. So keep your mind to it. Maybe I'll give you a week. Week should be good, right? Looking for a game, kind of working together, putting time together. A week should be good. We are in week 5. It should come to me before the midterm, I think. Makes sense, so that you worked on it. So a week should be good. I see the other students on Thursday. So week after Thursday. So Friday to Friday is kind of what I'll give you. So you have it. You have a week to work on. You can work on the weekend and meet, or you can, of course, we don't have to meet at all. We can do everything on Skype or whatever. So choose a partner, and I want you to create a game using the card and the deck of cards. That's what I want you to do. So any interesting, simple card game will do. I'm not looking for GUI or anything at all. If you want to go ahead and put your heart into it, sure, do it. But don't take my code. So this is out. This game is out, and tic-tac-toe is already on Blackboard. That's out. So don't do those games. So everybody's games should be individual. In the sense, group individual. You know what I mean? Go on, look on the web, look for help, look for ideas, look whatever. But please don't copy and paste code. Because if I see it's too professional, I know something is wrong. You know the difference, right? My game is not professional. You know what I mean? Like, I've just written it. So is that okay for everybody? That's what your aim, that's what your target is. So now for the rest 20 minutes, if you want, I'll clean this up and put it on Blackboard. But this is just to give you an idea. You're not writing it anyway. Please group up quickly.
I want to, before you leave class, I want to know the two people working in the group and the game you're going to work on. I need to know that. And then I'll give you, for you, you will have extra days, but you will definitely have this week and almost the next week. Almost Thursday. I see those guys
Next
Thursday.
Friday is the.
Kind of, yeah. If I say it can be a week, I can give you the weekend also. But usually weekends, I don't answer emails, so usually I put it Friday because till Friday I am answering emails. So if there is anything that you need to know, I'm answering. Saturday, Sunday, I may not be available, and then you will say, oh, it was due date and Anju was not available. But remember, Saturday, Sunday, I may not be available. Okay? So you will definitely have till next Friday. Officially, when I see these people on Thursday, they will have it on Thursday. Okay? So before you leave, your group members and the game you're going to work on. You can Google and start looking for games. I mean, it's up to you. Yes, Cindy.
So what's your
Basically the deck of cards, because deck is being used by deck of cards. Right?
So we're supposed to use this.
More methods. You can do that.
Solitaire or go fish.
I mean, the course should be different from the thing.
I wasn't sure how.
Sure, but then you're not discussing four. You're not four in a group. You know what I mean? Yeah. So keep that in mind. If you're doing the same game and you're talking, and then things can become same. So you have to avoid that.
Traditional, it never gets old, it can be done with a standard.
I don't know. We have some ideas. What game names are you taking?
Go fish.
Go fish?
Yeah.
So you've chosen that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Go fish is gone, guys. Go fish is gone. So choose your game so that you don't repeat games. That way you're not repeating. Yes.
High low.
Which one?
High low.
High well it is called?
High low.
High low. Okay, so high low is gone. I'm kind of writing names so that you don't that way you know you're all writing individually. So I'm putting names here so that you know what has gone. So it's called high low.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 words. Because I don't know what the game is. So guys, please, when you write games for me, let me know what they are. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I said. If we have time, maybe we can present in class. Then it's easy. You can show it playing like I did with Tej, and then it becomes easy. And you said go fish?
Yeah.
It's just called go fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
GOFISH.
Okay, go fish is gone. Memory game. I know about these games. These are the games I play, right? But doesn't mean you have to do them. I don't know about poker, how easy it is to write poker, I don't know. Right? As long as you are using the deck of cards. Card is already defined, everybody will use it. Deck of cards, you can add new methods if you like. If you want a draw method or if you want something else, you can add code. So officially I put all this in black and white on blackboard.
This one?
This one I put on blackboard. Let me just clean it up a little.
When do you think?
I'll do it today.
Okay.
I will. It's not a big job. I just want to be sure because now that I run it, I don't sleep completely away. So I'm just kind of taking care that it will work. I'm sure it will, but. So 2 in a group, no more, no less. So 2 in a group. So 2 people in a group is how you work, right? And keep a game to yourself. So 2 games are already gone. So the quicker you decide, the better you are. And please see that you can work with each other. I don't want at the end want to know that, oh, my partner didn't work. You're not coming to me with all these problems, right? If you decide to partner, then please see that you partner with somebody you can work with. That is called in English is kind of poker idea. No, team Batti is not running. Rummy is different. Rummy is when you put 10 cards to each person and they make some kind of sequences, saree as we call it. Team Batti is like poker, right? That's what it is when you take 3 cards each and then
We
you
have to make the pair.
not pairs. You kind of see who's the winner by seeing what the. Okay, so there are
That's
more
right.
than one
Yeah.
ways of winning that game. You know that.
Yeah.
There are rules, right? So the rules are pair, color, and then sequence, and then we have pure sequence and so on. So don't leave out anything. If you have to write a game, you do it completely. So they're doing poker.
No, we can blackjack.
What is it? Black?
Blackjack.
Jack, blackjack. Okay, so blackjack is gone, guys. Look for that name. I think it's poker. What you're saying in Hindi, in that Hindi is poker. I think so. What is it called in Hindi? Tell me. Maybe I can see. What is it? Which one? What is it called?
It's two cards are the same, like ace of spades and ace of diamonds are same. Yeah. Like,
So what do they do with it? I mean, who's the winner or whatever?
like in that who made the more pairs.
Oh, okay. What's it called? Cookie Bazaar, right? Cookie Bazaar, I think. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. That is what it is, right? You make pairs, right? And
Yeah, pairs.
whoever, but how do you place the cards in that? What do you do with it? Like how you distribute the deck of cards? But then you just pick up the first card from each top, but then if it is not a pair, then
and your keeps continuing pressing cards, and if it's not, we will take it. And
is it like Cookie Bazaar, is it? No, I don't know what the name is. Okay, so guys, keep in mind, whatever game you are playing or making, you have to demonstrate it in class. I should know what that game is. Only then will I know your answers are correct. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to explain it to the class. So there will be a presentation. I'm trying to think where do I place that presentation. So I don't know what it is called, but I'm hoping on the answer to it. Okay, because big. Okay. Okay, if you can make it, anything you choose, please see that it's not repeated and you do it well. So I don't know what this big game is, but Tijana found it. So
It's called poker or flush.
Flash, right?
Flash or flush.
I can't remember Flash. Okay.
But they were
Oh, so it's basically one by one. And what was that called?
card on card. Card on card.
Card on card. But is that the same as that?
Yep, that was the same.
Well, he's talking about the same, not pairs then, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
card on card.
So then card on card is gone. Card on card is gone. Okay, so I see what you're doing. You're basically putting into two and people do, and whoever is, when it matches, that person takes away the pie. Oh, okay, it's card on card. Okay, I thought you were pairing up. You said when you went A and A, all you meant is the same card, right? I thought you were making pairs with A's and twos. No, so it's card on card. Card on card is gone. Card on card is just is an easy one, right? But that's okay. That's fine. Card on card is played the same way like we were doing it, but much easier. So every person plays a card, the other person plays a card. If it matches, the war pile goes to the person who's done. It's an easy one. That's okay. Whatever you like.
I don't know what's called. It's called in English.
But what is it? Which one? What's that?
I know it is like
It's called puppy.
Puppy.
What's that?
It's like when you have three cards, like one of the three jacks, like two you have two jack and one 10, and you like and you fold on the back side, and then you have three jack. Next player said that you say lie.
No, okay, that's
not that. That's a puppy.
No.
That's a bluff.
Cheat.
That's a bluff.
That's cheat.
You're talking about.
Cheat game. Yeah, that's
That's a
cheat.
bluff.
So what happens in hockey?
Like there are two players and they don't have to show their cards.
But half of each card?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the person sitting next to has to show his cards, and it depends on you if you have the same color and the same face. That's it. You have to keep in mind that you have to finish all.
Go ahead. Don't worry.
You have to
Whatever
finish
is
all
score doesn't matter.
your cards before that.
So does the other person throw and say this is what I'm throwing and you kind of match it?
Yeah, but
It's
if
like
he has the
bluff,
bigger card, then all the cards go to him.
It's like
You have
bluff,
to-
kind of, right?
No, not kind of bluff. Bluff is like a-
Bluff is
Like
like
in
two or
the-
three or three.
like if the games continue on spade and you have the card of diamond, then follow the card you pick.
It's a game of colors.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that if you like, it doesn't matter. If you want to do that, we can use poker too. And whatever game you are doing, you must know it well, only then you will be able to make it. Keep that in mind, guys. And every game will have rules to it. Every game will have how to distribute your cards. When do you win, when do you lose? So do a game, I would say that you know well. You know, that's easy, doesn't matter, but do it well. The whole idea is to use your deck of cards. Who's not paid in this class yet? Oh, we have 2 people, 3 people who haven't paid. Paid up. Let's keep it to this class if you can. We have people here. If you're going to shift it, then it's good because I would like a presentation. Sure. So you're done? You're done? Yeah. So you're still left and 2 people are there, right? Yeah, and who else? And one more. Amandeep, I know. What's your name? Anthony, right. So Anthony and Amandeep. Amandeep, would you like to have a girl or are you okay with what is the boys? You're fine? Anthony, would you like to get up there? Sure. Why not? Go ahead. Do your left now. We can listen to the class.
Also, it's research with Bruce.
We'll find somebody. I'm sure there is. Rafi, you want to say? Will I put it on Blackboard on Friday or Tuesday or Thursday? Then I can say people who are alone. Not working on it if you like. It has to be done in pairs. I don't know. I'm just a few years. Like just simple ones. I know the card now. Right? I know the solitaire. Card is gone. Card is gone. Right? They've already taken. You can do the solitaire. I don't know how much it is. Right? Memory game is not tough, right? Memory game is just putting all the cards face down, right? And then you pick up any 2 cards, so you just position, if they match, you take it, and if it doesn't match, you put it back. So the game ends when this side is empty. Memory game. You want to go memory game? Okay, memory game. Memory game is gone, guys. So card on card is gone, big is gone, so poker is still, let's still decide. So I need from you guys, now please do this, please email me with your group members and the game you are playing. I'm just putting names here of the games that are gone. So this is games that have already been taken, so don't take those games, okay? And that's the whole idea, because if you have the same game, you are definitely going to discuss and it will definitely turn up having the same game. It happens. It's just human nature. Sorry? I will. The deck of cards I can do right away. This one I want to clean up or look at it before I put it. Before I say it's mine, I want to say it's mine.